Hello guys, welcome to Cinema Ultimate. This is Don't Breathe 2 movie recap. An action horror film released in 2021. The film is directed by Rodo Sayagues and played by Stephen Lang. Don't Breathe 2 is a continuation of the 2016 film Don't Breathe. This film tells about the life of a blind old man who lives in a house in a remote place. Despite being unable to see, he has the uncanny ability to protect and recognize his surroundings just through his breath. Well, this time the film Don't Breathe 2 tells of his life after 8 years later with a child named Phoenix. And again intruders came to his house. The old man was back in action. What's next? Here is a recap of the film. The film begins with the state of a house that is on fire, and not far from the house is shown a child lying in the middle of the road. 8 years later, the little girl has grown up and is in the middle of the forest. She looked scared and was seen hiding, not long after a dog came after her. Then she kept running and climbed over the wire fence. When she got off, he found a gun in a car. When she was about to take it, suddenly from behind appeared an old man who covered her mouth. Yes, that man is Norman Nordstorm. He is an old man who was in the first Don't Breathe film in 2016. It is known that the girl's name is Phoenix. And the dog is named Shadow. Norman adopted Phoenix after the fire incident at the beginning of the film, and what they are currently doing is a survival exercise. He cared for and protected Phoenix like his own child. He didn't want to lose his daughter again. Long story short, they went home. Inside the house, Phoenix tries to ask her father for permission to go to town, but Norman refuses her request. Outside, a woman came to deliver the plant orders that Norman had asked for. This woman's name is Hernandez. She is the same as Norman, a former member of the military. As soon as Norman returns inside, he offers his daughter to come into town with Hernandez. Phoenix was happy and they finally left with the Shadow. On the way, Hernandez heard Phoenix sing. It seemed she missed coming to her house. Then Hernandez offered Phoenix to visit her old house, hearing that Phoenix also wanted to. Arriving at her old house, she put flowers and found a stone with the words "I love you, Mom" on it. Suddenly someone's voice was heard from inside the house, which scared Phoenix and left. After that, they went to a children's playground. Phoenix saw a lot of other kids playing together. Of course she wanted to play with them. However, she didn't know. Soon, she saw the children running towards a shelter called the Covenant Shelter. Then Phoenix went home, but before going home she gave permission to Hernandez to go to the public toilet. When she was about to leave the toilet, she saw a man named Raylan. He waited for her at the door to talk to her and then touched Phoenix's hair. But Phoenix ignored him. Phoenix goes home with Hernandez. After Hernandez dropped off Phoenix and then she went home. On the way, she met Raylan. They have a chance to talk, but soon Raylan's men attack and end up horribly killing Hernandez. At home, Phoenix asks her father to go to a public school and make friends. She wants to live a normal life like other children. Hearing this, Norman got angry and said that he didn't want to lose his daughter again. Then he left Phoenix in the room. Norman goes out of the house to feed Shadow. However, after a long time of waiting, the sound of the Shadow barking was not heard at all. Then Norman went to look for Shadow. Raylan, seen along with two of his colleagues already standing in front of Norman's house, they began to enter the house. In the bedroom, Phoenix heard someone's footsteps coming towards her. When she saw it wasn't her father. Phoenix immediately hid, and slowly headed for the exit of the house while turning off the light. However, when Phoenix came out, it turned out that in front of the front door there was one person who was about to enter. She immediately hid. While outside, Norman finds Shadow, who has been shot dead. And he rushed back to the house. While Phoenix tried to exit through the back door, she was startled by a gunshot from behind her. Suddenly a stranger appeared in front of her. Then Norman came from behind the door and held the man's head in his hands. He ordered Phoenix to immediately run to a hiding place in the basement. While running, Phoenix fell because one of Raylan's men came after her. But Phoenix still had time to go to the hiding place and lock the door. On the other hand, The criminals who were caught by Norman managed to escape. Meanwhile, the other criminals went looking for Norman to the car garage, and suddenly Norman attacked him. Then the criminals made a gunshot sound, so the other criminals came back. He saw his friend had his nose and mouth glued so he couldn't breathe. He immediately stabbed his friend's mouth so he could breathe, and his friend tore his mouth with shards of glass. Here they realize who their opponent is, in which Norman is a former member of the Navy SEAL, not a random person. Norman goes to Phoenix's hideout and attacks the criminal. It turned out that the criminal had soaked the Phoenix with water and put an electric cable in it. If the water was full, the Phoenix would be electrocuted. Not long after, Norman immediately came, pulled the cable and threw it into a tube near the criminal, until finally the criminal was killed instantly. Norman also managed to bring Phoenix out of hiding, and led her out through the alley to the garden of his house. Raylan, who heard it, then came there. Arriving at the park, suddenly the hallway door was shot and Raylan and his men came to surround them. Norman and Phoenix are trapped. Raylan and his friends immediately take Phoenix, and when Norman wants to fight him, he loses, and can't do anything. Then Raylan took off his headgear and revealed the same white hair as Phoenix's. It turns out that Raylan is Phoenix's biological father. Then Raylan told the fire that he experienced 8 years ago, where he was arrested by the police, his house was burned, and left Phoenix in the middle of the road. After telling that, Phoenix was taken away by Raylan, while Norman himself was about to be killed, but he managed to fight back and get out of there. Meanwhile, as Phoenix tries to escape, he stabs one of the criminals with a garden fork. Norman suddenly came back to finish the criminal to death. Norman takes Phoenix back home looking for another way out. Soon Raylan released his dog to hunt them. While in the hallway, Phoenix questions Norman who her real father is. Norman can't explain and they argue until Raylan's dog is nearby. Norman immediately forced Phoenix to go up to the attic to rush out of the house by creeping on the side of the wall. It turned out that when Phoenix came down, the criminals were already downstairs and managed to catch Phoenix and take her to the car. Raylan, who knows Norman is still in the house, immediately sets his house on fire, and leaves his dog on fire. It turns out that Norman managed to get out of the house and even managed to save Raylan's dog. Norman managed to survive even though his house was all burned down. It was unfortunate for Norman at that time. On the other hand, Phoenix had arrived at an old hotel with Raylan and his men. She was greeted by Raylan and his wife, who turned out to be her biological mother. She showed Phoenix a photo when Phoenix was a baby. And she also told her that her real name was Tara. Phoenix is happy, finally she meet her family. However, her mother told her that she was seriously ill from inhaling smoke 8 years ago, which damaged her heart and had to be immediately replaced with a heart transplant. And the only person who can do it is the closest person, is Phoenix herself. Hearing this, Phoenix was immediately shocked, but it was too late because the drink had been given medicine. Near Norman's house, he finds the dead Hernandez in her car. Then he made a plan to come find Raylan's location with the help of the dog. At the surgery room, Phoenix had woken up with her mother to be ready for surgery by a doctor. Without thinking, Phoenix was already taken to the operating room. It turns out that these criminals are drug dealers and Raylan's wife is the only person who can manufacture the drugs, which means they sacrificed Phoenix to save her. But soon Norman arrived at Raylan's location. Then he went in and turned off the power until the operation was delayed. One of Raylan's men came to turn on the electricity. Unexpectedly, Norman was already there waiting for him, then hit him with a hammer to death. Back to Raylan's side, who suddenly saw his dog enter. That means Norman is still alive. He immediately ordered his men to find Norman. Then they went looking and then found Norman already lying downstairs. It turned out that their movement made the water move towards Norman so that Norman knew their position and shot him immediately. They were killed until there was only one person left who informed where Raylan and Phoenix were. Norman rushed to find him. While Raylan shot at the top of the vent to get light, but he saw that the doctor had been shot, then his leg had a and that emitted smoke. Raylan's standing position was increasingly invisible and Norman began to attack him. Raylan, who started to get scared, shot in all directions until his wife was accidentally shot. Raylan saw his wife died horribly and his wheelchair moved into an empty swimming pool nearby. Phoenix, who was handcuffed with her mother, was immediately carried away. On the other hand, Norman continues to fight with Raylan until Raylan loses because his eye is suppressed by Norman until he is blind. Meanwhile, Phoenix, who was finally able to save himself, saw Norman. However, Norman told her to leave. Unexpectedly, Norman was stabbed by Raylan from behind. Thought he was gone, suddenly Phoenix came and stabbed Raylan back until he died right beside his wife. Phoenix wants to help Norman, but it's too late. Looks like Norman is dead. Then Phoenix went to the Covenant shelter. At the end of the film, Raylan's dog approaches Norman, and Norman's finger moves again and the film ends. Okay guys. If you like our channel, support us with subscribe and turn on the bell, like, comment, and share. So that you don't miss our next video and our channel can grow even more. See you guys.